Blog Talk Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of False Count Radio. As always, I'm your host, the Pacific Coast player, JT Evans, and I have on the line with me former WWF superstar and member of the Mean Street Posse, Pete Gass. How are you doing tonight?
Good, JT. How are you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. You know, I have been reading up and kind of following on what you've been doing. You've been playing baseball. You want to tell the listeners what's been up?
Actually, it's softball. I play about 6 nights a week when I can stay healthy, and I play for a bunch of local teams during the week, and on the weekends I play for a group it's called Click It for Cassie. Everyone should check it out at clickitforcassie.com. Basically, in a nutshell, it's a tragedy. A young girl got killed in a car accident. It basically makes you more aware to wearing your seatbelt and stuff. It's a really good cause. Everyone should really just check that out.
Yeah, it sounds like a good cause, and I'll put that link up on our website, of course. Now, I was wondering, growing up, were you a wrestling fan?
It's hard not to be a wrestling fan. Growing up with the McMahon family, as you know, Shane being my childhood friend, and to be honest with you, even before I met Shane, I remember being 9 years old, waking up, or trying to stay awake rather, till like midnight to try to catch on Channel 9 here locally. They used to have wrestling on, and I remember seeing a big blonde-haired guy by the name of Hulk Hogan wrestle. I used to try to stay awake up to watch him, so it was always a big thing, and I was always a big fan of it growing up, yes, to answer your question.
Now, you actually touched down a little bit on that, but what was growing up with Shane like?
To be honest with you, these guys that do the show Jackass, we laughed about it, and we said we were the original jackasses, because Shane, growing up, Shane's one of the craziest people growing up, and we did a bunch of stuff growing up that we were lucky we didn't get arrested for a bunch of times. We got out of a lot of trouble, but there's nothing. Shane and my group, the Mean Street Posse, the guys growing up in that group, we did a lot of stuff that we shouldn't have done and gotten a lot of trouble. Well, should have gotten a lot of trouble, but somehow we always kind of eluded that.
Did you guys ever record any of it?
No, that's the thing. We didn't think of recording it. So, and like I said, that's what Shane and I often joke about it, because there's a lot of things that like we did, and if we had a recorder, going, we would have made a lot of money doing it. Definitely.
Now, before wrestling, what did you do for a living?
Before wrestling, well, I had a bunch of jobs. The job right before wrestling, I actually ran an office in Queens, New York, called Lightning Rentals, no G at the end. It was basically on a movie set, you have star trailer homes, and I used to rent those star trailer homes out to production companies. I was out with a lot of producers. I used to wine and dine producers, directors, and I dealt a lot on movie sets. Some of the movies that I got the opportunity to work on, Big Daddy with Adam Sandler, Thomas Crown Affair was shot in Yonkers, New York. I did a lot of those movies back then, and then the opportunity with Shane came up to be involved in WrestleMania 16, and eventually that just kind of snowballed, and I was now a part of wrestling instead of doing what I was doing before.
Now, my co-host Viper actually has a question, so Viper, go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned WrestleMania. What are your memories of your WrestleMania debut?
Well, going into WrestleMania, the first one we were in, we didn't know how much of a buzz we actually had. And I remember we had a part where we were helping Shane beat X-pac, and they had brought us in for a few weeks before, and we kind of built up to this thing. We did some vignettes prior to even being brought on into TV. And getting to actually participate in WrestleMania, we sat in the front row, and it was pretty amazing, because I remember looking up to the crowd and actually seeing signs. There's some creative signs. I remember one of them was they had a giant Mean Street Posse sign, and they had another one saying Pete Gas and Rodney are the icons of wrestling, and we had a good time watching it and getting involved. And I remember there was a bunch of New York Giants sitting a couple rows behind us, and here I am. I'm a Giants fan, and I'm excited that I'm even sitting within 5 feet of these guys, and they're sitting there taking our pictures. So it was a blast. I mean, it was an unbelievable feeling, and then to actually get to participate in it, and looking back at it now, where we didn't even know what the hell we were doing, and to do it, and then actually get on TV and have it be a memory and stuff, it was amazing, an absolute amazing time.
Now, you came in different than a lot of the guys that go to the WWE. Were you accepted by the boys when you first came in?
Absolutely not. Some guys, guys put up a front, and because we were Shane's friends, and there was everyone from, we had to pay our dues in a different way. A normal wrestler goes through, training class and then works on the road, and guys like, Stone Cold Steve Austin would go and make like $40 a day, if lucky, and, eat bags of potatoes, and we didn't have that. And we got thrown right into the fire right away without even knowing how to take a bump. And, yeah, to answer your question, a lot of people did, even Jim Ross, which I was a little surprised with, and not, especially since we busted our ass for 3 years, and which didn't feel like we were getting our respect from Jim Ross at all. And I know I wasn't. He may have liked Rodney a little bit better than me. But, other people, like the boys themselves in the locker room, eventually they grew to respect us because we did sell ourselves out. We put everybody over. We threw our bodies around. We let everyone beat our asses. And at the end of the day, when everything was all said and done, we did have the respect. But it did take a year, a little over a year, maybe a year to earn that respect.
Now, a lot of the guys when they first come in, they get hazed or ribbed. Did you guys ever get hazed or ribbed when you guys first came in?
That's a good question. We didn't get, I remember as I was there, I remember, doing stuff when I got down to, Memphis, and I know you want to touch on that later. I know I did some ribbing down there to some of the younger guys, like Lance Cade when he was first coming in. But, no, we didn't really get, it wasn't too bad with us. We were kind of taught early on how to respect the boys, make sure, there's some unwritten rules in the wrestling industry. Like, you walk into a locker room, you shake everyone's hands when you get there. You shake everyone's hands when you leave. And, we kind of knew that going in, and some people don't, and they learn the hard way, and they get ribbed, and they get razzed pretty good. And but it's for the most part back then, it was a great locker room. Probably I hear from guys from the past, from the present, that it was probably the best of the time to be in professional wrestling, especially for WWE. So no, the answer is no. We really didn't get razzed or ribbed that much, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. During this time you actually got to work with X-pac. What was X-pac like to work with?
X-pac's a phenomenal person. He's a great person. I think he gets a bum rap on a lot of things. That reality show definitely didn't help him. But he's a true professional. He taught me a lot, along with a lot of guys. Like I said a minute or so ago, there were guys that really knew how to, that locker room really, everyone took care of each other. And I was able to go up to an X-pac or a Road Dogg and talk to them. And literally they would tell you how to work a crowd. And we were green, so we were still learning. And we were doing shows and then heading back to Stamford, Connecticut, to Titan Tower, and into the studio and working on moves and philosophy of a match and all that stuff. And then we would go and bring it to these guys and pick their brains. And that was one thing that Rodney and I definitely did was, we went there as Shane's buddies, but when we got there, we didn't use that as like a crutch. We didn't cruise by things. We broke our asses. We watched tapes. We did everything that we needed to do to get better each and every day. Even when we were hurt and beat up and, Bradshaw's hitting me in the head with a steel chair and trying to take my head off, I'm back in the ring the next night, wanting that chair shot again. We went and we looked at it as we were doing it for our buddy Shane and his family, and then we treated it as a job and we worked hard at it. So, that's basically, in a nutshell, that's, everyone in that locker room, you could go to them, you could ask for help. A guy like X-pac, like I said, he he would help with philosophy. He would tell you how to get a crowd up, and to me, he was a true professional in every aspect.